Before we get on with this video, I just want to say thank you so much Movavi for sponsoring this video. Ever since I created my YouTube channel, I've been going through a list of brands to work with, and I just knew I had to work with Movavi. Because when I started editing videos for fun a couple years ago, Movavi was one of the first softwares I tried out. Movavi is a simple and beginner-friendly software with a range of products including screen recorders, video editors, photo editors, and even a slideshow maker. The greatest benefit of using Movavi products is that while all their softwares are easy to use, they have zero restrictions or limits when it comes to what you can do. Movavi has also created a wheel of discounts. So you can spin the wheel to land yourself a discount between 5% to 15%. But just in case the whole Wheel of Fortune thing didn't work out for you, no worries, I've got you covered. You can use my coupon to get a 15% discount on any and all Movavi products, so just in case you don't already have a Movavi account, go ahead and use the code in my description box and get yourself a discount on any and all Movavi products that are 100% worth the cash. Once again, thank you to Movavi for the really cool products and discounts, and without further ado, let's get into the video. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. In today's YouTube video, I will be sharing with you my bullet journal spread for the month of July. It's slightly ironic because this channel was initially created for me to post bullet journal spreads only. However, a short while after it was created, the channel ended up turning into a baking channel, which is also ironic because baking is actually the activity that I do least. Yet, for whatever reason, I ended up posting more baking videos than journaling videos, so this is actually the very first bullet journal spread video that I'm posting. Calling this video long overdue is definitely an understatement. I've been wanting to post this video for so long, and it definitely took me a long while to edit it. However, I'm finally done with it, and I'm very pleased with the results. So, here we are. I also want to mention before we move further on into this video that bullet journaling solely exists to inspire, so if you want to experiment, feel free to do so. Change up colors, change up the aesthetic, do whatever you want to. You don't have to copy down the spread down to the last detail, but if you do want to go ahead and make sure you have the exact same spread that I do, then it's completely fine to copy down every little detail of the spread as well. If you are copying my spread, or if you are following my bullet journal spread, then do tag me in your posts and let me know how it turned out, because I would love to see those pictures. As you all know, most journalists tend to have a theme for their bullet journals, and so do I. I feel like themes definitely make things more aesthetically pleasing, and I know a lot of journalists like to have like a very detailed theme, which I also am personally a huge fan of. I like to keep themes for all my bullet journals all the time just because it makes things more aesthetically pleasing. However, I am not a fan, again, this is up to you and what you personally prefer. However, I am not a fan of themes that are so detailed that it's very controlling of what you can do on the paper. For instance, if you were to have like a certain theme where you only could draw like certain icons and use certain colors on each part of the paper for the entire month, I would find that to be a little exhausting and I would get sick of it very quickly. Therefore, I am definitely against such themes, and I just like to have like a basic overall theme that isn't too controlling of what I can and can't do. Since it is the month of July and I live in a desert, the only thing that stands out in July to me is pretty much the fact that everybody dies of a heat stroke. So no, they really do die in a heat stroke. That wasn't even a joke. So due to that, I decided why not keep the main overall theme of July, summer. So I decided to think of all things that related to the theme of summer, and the first thing that came to my head was ice cream, because you really can't live without ice cream in the summer. Therefore, I decided to create the July cover with the ice cream theme. Another thing that I'd like to point out is I decided to stick to only ice cream bars and popsicles. However, if you want to add ice cream cones into it, you can definitely go for it. I also think it would be really cute if you mixed in various forms of ice cream, like perhaps a sundae bowl, and then an ice cream bar and an ice cream cone, maybe like a banana split. Just pretty much put everything all in together, and it would look pretty cute too. You can also change the sizes and put up different fonts if you like. However, I'm just doing it simply. Also, another thing that I feel like I should mention right now is that I don't actually use any products that are too expensive or hard to find. All my supplies are very easy and accessible as far as I know. So If you want to know exactly what I'm using, I'm pretty much only using a one simple black fine liner. The version that I'm using right now is a Unicompo pointer. However, if you want, I've also heard that the pointers slash fine liners that come from the brand Dollar are also pretty nice. So you can go try those too. Just make sure you use whatever nice fine liner or mid liner that doesn't really bleed through the paper, because obviously you don't want that to happen. And as for the colored supplies, pretty much the only thing I'm using are Faber-Castell markers. These are very accessible. You find them pretty much everywhere in different sizes, different styles. So, and a huge number of them actually. The set that I have, it has 32 pieces. So you can definitely go ahead and feel free to use whatever you want. You can also use color pencils, oil pastels, pastel markers, whatever you like. Brush pens are definitely things that I think work really well on paper, which is why I use the Maped brush pens. So you'll also find me using those in this video. Another thing that I do like using, and I think is possibly one of the most important things when bullet journaling, is the graph liners. I use the Maped graph liner peps. They're super thin, they look cute, and they definitely don't bleed through the paper that easily, although obviously if you were to apply an extreme amount of pressure, they do. So I'm definitely a huge fan of the graph liners. Kinda wish they had pastel ones, but it's fine. Also, since I do not own the bullet journal dotted sheets, it's actually a lot harder for me to see if my measurements are actually 100% accurate, which is why I like doing them with a pencil first. However, if you feel like you'll be able to do it fine, or you already own bullet journal dotted sheets and you feel like you don't need another stencil or marking in the background in pencil, you can go ahead and do it just with pen straight away. This month's theme is pretty much just related to ice cream, the summer vibes and colors. I'm using lots of pinks, oranges, yellows, pretty much colors of the sunset. Like I said, I'm just associating it with the heat of July. And as for the fonts that I'm using, I'm pretty much only using simple hand lettering fonts that are pretty easy to do and they don't require much effort. And you can also try out different things with them, add pops of color to them, finer details, fill them in, leave them as outlines, so it's a pretty simple spread. Obviously in this video you can see me coloring into my ice cream bars and popsicles. However, if you just want to use the color as outlines and you don't really want to fill it in with colors that's solid, you can go ahead and do so. I actually tried doing it and it looks pretty good as well. Like I said, coloring it with pencil might also make it look really nice and gradient, so you can go ahead and do that. There's no specific order to what ice creams that I'm coloring, just go ahead and do it the way you like, pick whatever color you like, mix and match as you please. Also, it's completely fine to make errors. I make errors all the time. I decided to include this little snippet of me putting whitener on the piece of paper because I realized that a lot of the journalists or journal videos out there don't include them because they're so perfected. Therefore, I decided maybe it'd be a little encouraging if I showed all the errors that take place behind the scenes as well. If you do end up messing up, it's fine. You can fix it with a little doodle, a little sticker, or in this case, some correction tape. And finally, after coloring for at least a solid 5 minutes, I was done with the cover for July. Moving on, I decided to start with my habit tracker. Habit trackers are probably one of the most practical things that bullet journalists have in their journals. For this month's habit tracker, I am going to be creating a flower habit tracker. I know that the flower habit tracker looks a lot more complicated than your typical chart or box habit tracker. However, it's actually really easy to make and it looks pretty good too. I then start creating the title for the habit tracker. I use the black Faber-Castell marker to sort of color in to what I already drew. You can just leave it like an outline as well, but I thought in order to make it stand out better, I should probably fill it in. I then use a yellow marker to add more finer details. I also draw a flower on the side, although I must admit the flower is not my best piece of work. It kind of looks like a 5-year-old drew it. Regardless, I just thought, let's just add some cute little bullet journal themed details. I then create a legend/key for the habits. This obviously depends on how many habits you have. Since I'm tracking only 3 different habits, I'm going to be drawing 3 boxes, each box with a different color. The first one will be yellow, meaning the inner circle of flowers will be yellow, and then the middle circle of flowers will be orange, and the outermost circle will be red. The colors obviously depend on what you want to put, but because I'm trying to keep this summery theme for July, I just decided to use. And then I was done with the habit tracker and I decided to move on to my next sheet, which would be the mood tracker. So obviously I mentioned earlier that you're not really supposed to be doing or spending a lot of time on spreads and sheets that you probably don't feel like you'll use, which is exactly why even though I started bullet journaling like at least 3 to 4 years ago, I never made a mood tracker because I always felt like I'm never going to keep track of my moods and it's kind of unnecessary for me at that point. However, I had a conversation with a friend recently and I've kind of been feeling like, maybe now is probably a good time for me to try out a mood tracker. So this is basically me experimenting with the concept of mood tracker and creating a mood tracker for the very first time. I actually had to go through Pinterest to sort of look at the various designs that people use for mood trackers because I'd never made one before. And so the whole thing about me creating a mood tracker was very meaningful for me because I'd never created it before, so I was kind of nervous as to how it would turn out, but I also didn't really spend too much effort into it because, like I said, I don't really take the mood tracker part seriously. So pretty much the only reason I decided to create a mood tracker for the month of July is because I wanted to try it out. So basically this is just me testing out a mood tracker. I'm going to try it out for a month, and if I like it, I'll stick to it. And if I don't, then well, for my next bullet journal spread, you won't be seeing a mood tracker, or maybe you will because I'll keep it just in case because I know a lot of you guys like using mood trackers. But I'm not sure whether or not I'll be using it. I just want to test it out because I've never tested it out and just sort of see how it goes. Also, I know a lot of you would like to be really perfect and detailed about your bullet journals, so when drawing these light bulbs or string of light bulbs, I would suggest that you guys use a ruler to make sure that each light bulb is equidistant to one another, and also maybe use a stencil to make sure that each of your circles are of the same size. However, like I said, I really gave the least amount of effort into the mood tracker of all the other sheets and spreads I've ever done. So I didn't really put in much effort into it, especially because I knew that even though I was pretty much winging it, the whole thing, like I was just winging it, it still turned out good and looked aesthetically pleasing and was also incredibly practical. So I didn't find the need to use a stencil or really measure everything down to the detail, because even when the light bulbs aren't really equidistant to one another, they still look pretty good. Although I do know that it's a bit like slightly visible that some of the circles are larger than the other. I'm completely fine with it. Also, if you want to make a different styled light bulb or a more detailed light bulb or a vintage light bulb, feel free to do so, because like I said, bullet journaling is all about experimenting. Don't be afraid to sort of put your own twist to it. The amount of light bulbs you want to draw depends upon you. You can draw like 5 light bulbs per day, multiple light bulbs per week, however many you like. I just decided to draw 31, so it's kind of like a mood tracker for each day. At the end of each day, I kind of just sit down and I think about what mood I was experiencing the most throughout the day, and then I color in the light bulb according to that. However, if you find that's a bit difficult for you to do because you're experiencing a lot of moods and you want to track each of them down like hourly or between every 5 hours, then you can go ahead and do that. It's like I said, completely your choice. It's your bullet journal. Do what you feel like works best for you. Again, like how you did with the habit tracker, you have to draw a key or legend. I'm drawing mine at the bottom of the page. I'm drawing those light bulbs and I'm writing whichever emotion I want beside it. The emotions that you want to track are also according to you. I basically took like a minute or so to think of all the emotions that I experience most of the time. And I also looked up some of the most basic emotions like happiness, anger, fear, and sadness, and I kind of worked off of that. Also, I see a lot of people that just use like symbols or emoticons to sort of track their moods. However, I'm someone that's always associated moods with colors. I've always felt like emotions and color have such a strong connection between them, which is why I decided that I would be tracking each mood with the help of colors. Again, you don't have to track each mood with the exact same color that I am. Just take a while to sort of think what color you associate with each mood. So, for example, what color do you associate with happiness? For me, happy, the word happy just makes me think of yellow and yellow emojis. So I associate yellow with happiness, and therefore I color in the happiness bulb with yellow, the angry one with red, and so on. Basically, just do as you please. And after coloring in the last light bulb, that is pretty much all I did for the mood tracker. Can't wait to use it and see how it works out. After that, I decided to work on my gratitude/things I'm grateful for page. This is a spread that you can use for your gratitude page, your manifestations page, your goal page, even perhaps your weekly log page. One thing that I want to mention before we go on further is I do not do weekly logs because I have my own personal diary and personal scrapbooks, so it's kind of unnecessary for me to use a weekly log in my bullet journal as well. However, if you guys would like me to post some weekly log spreads as well, then feel free to comment down below and I'll upload the video for you guys. But for my gratitude page, it's pretty simple. I just use a pink cheetah print sheet and I created a tag in which I wrote things I'm grateful for and I stuck it onto the piece of paper. If you're someone who isn't sure about writing in a straight line, then you can go ahead and draw lines on the piece of paper, or instead you can go ahead and just grab that tag and stick it on a lined piece of paper if you don't have the bullet journal sheet. But that's pretty much all I did for the gratitude page. Moving on, the final part of this journal spread is the best of the month/highlights of the month page, and this is possibly one of like the coolest or sentimental parts of the journal where things get most personal. For the best of July spread, I'm not really doing much. I've seen various varieties of bullet journal best of the month spreads. I've seen people that only like to stick Polaroids and pictures. I've seen people that like to scrapbook. I've seen people that only post stickers and little stamps on. I've seen people that literally just write everything down, like all they do is write paragraphs and paragraphs of the highlights of the month. I like to do a mix of both. Like I mentioned multiple times in this video, I am not someone that likes to confine myself to doing one thing only. I tend to like to mix everything together in an aesthetically pleasing way. So what I pretty much do is I kind of like occasionally scrapbook. Sometimes I'll attach Polaroids and pictures, sometimes just one picture, sometimes I'll draw into the Polaroid sheet or paint on it instead of applying a picture. So instead I'll just draw from memory of this landmark or place that I visited in the month. And I will also write a few lines or a couple of paragraphs of the things I saw, the things I had. I'll even attach like tickets and receipts just to make it all the more memorable. As you can see, I've added pops of color to the title just because I thought it would be too plain without any color, so I used pink and orange to sort of decorate. I'm also drawing a Polaroid on the side as of right now because I thought adding a few details would make it look cuter. I'm writing love at the bottom of the Polaroid template, and inside the Polaroid I'm drawing like mountains very, very roughly, not at all neat, not at all, just like little doodly scribbles. I'm drawing mountains and a tree because I actually just at this point, when I was filming this video, I actually just finished watching a Bob Ross video, so I kind of just decided to draw mountains and stuff. Side, just a simple classic camera with a strap on it. You can also draw a cute little Polaroid camera, and you can also add colors to the camera and the Polaroid picture. However, I decided to just keep it plain black and white because I found the coloring to be unnecessary. Like I said, I like involving pictures into my highlights of the month. Therefore, I'm drawing a rectangular box. You can just draw a plain rectangular box or just straight up slap your Polaroid or printed picture onto it. However, I am going to be drawing a Polaroid template itself. So that I can sort of, because obviously July hasn't started yet, I'm not really sure if I will be sticking a Polaroid, a printed picture, a sticker, or I'll be painting, so I tend to just sort of draw a Polaroid template and then see what I do afterwards when obviously July is over. I think maybe I should give you guys like an overview once I'm done filling in my bullet journal for July, so that way you guys can sort of see how I use it and exactly how my spreads work. But that's pretty much it for the Polaroid template. I also like to write down the date at the bottom. I'm just writing down 7/21. Obviously I don't know exactly what date the memory is going to be from. Like I said, July hasn't started yet. I don't know which memory I will be writing down or sticking. And then using some more of the pink cheetah print sheets, I cut them into strips and I stick them on the sides. You can skip this if you want, or you could even go ahead and just cut the strips and keep them so that you can add them on after you've stuck your picture or Polaroid, so it's over the Polaroid or picture. Like I said, I also tend to draw my pictures a lot of the times, so I'm just sticking it onto the journal paper instead of the picture. Hopefully that made sense, but it's just a way for me to make it more aesthetic. If you want to put on multiple pictures of multiple highlights of July, you can go ahead and draw the exact same rectangular box at the bottom and make as many sheets with rectangular boxes of whatever size that you like. However, I'm just going to be drawing one rectangular Polaroid area, and I'm leaving the bottom for me to write down memories. I just want to quickly apologize for the terrible close-ups being used. And that is pretty much it for my bullet journal spread. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. It was a very fun video for me to film, and I'm so glad I was able to put it out. Thank you guys. I can't wait to see you guys next time. Again, feel free to tag me in all the posts of your bullet journal spreads. I would love to see how yours turned out. And if you've got any questions, leave them in the comment section below as well. I'll see you guys next time. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next video.